Hey everybody, welcome back to the Landscapes for Learning, where I provide mind-body resources for your healthy embodied learning and development. I'm going to encourage you throughout all of these videos to know yourself for wisdom and wellness, because when you're better, that benefits everybody. All right, so today, my last video was just an introduction to my book, Classic Wisdom for the Modern Human, a self-study guide for wellness by yours truly. I introduced it last video, and today I just want to start with the acknowledgments. The acknowledgments are important because they are the mind-body resources that I want to share with you. I have lots of them that I mentioned in the acknowledgments, and then in the reference pages at the end, pages and pages and pages of all the research, all the reading, and the podcasts that I listen to, videos I've watched, of all of these people in mind-body health and learning who I kind of try to capture for you and make more accessible just to the everyday person. You don't need to read Sapolsky's Behave. It's a big book. It's a little technical, although very enjoyable. You can if you want, but I'm trying to pass on all of the important information and make it accessible for everyday people who don't have time to amass all these resources, which I've already done for you and vetted them, and so I'll make them accessible to you. I'll do my best. So I just want to start with the acknowledgments that I mentioned in my book. I wrote, my work here is a result of so many other people's work and their unique service to others, right? We share our resources here at Landscapes for Learning. That's part of who Landscapes for Learning is. We gather together, share our resources so that we can all thrive. Everything I read, watched, and listened to over the past several years spoke directly to what I had been learning firsthand in my everyday experiences, mostly in my Bikram yoga practice, but also while traveling geographically, teaching as a high school English teacher and a yoga teacher, parenting 4 children who are now grown adults, and writing. I had a daily writing habit. I used to write in journals since my son was born, so about 27 years ago. I do my morning pages according to Julia Cameron, who I found through Tim Ferriss, and writing is a really good therapeutic tool. It has been for me. It doesn't work for everyone, but it's a good one, along with yoga. So throughout this process, my process of self-study for self-realization, I have studied the book of me. I've turned my attention inward to know myself for wisdom and wellness, but I've also immersed myself in a lot of these resources available to everybody. And you don't have to go buy all these books, because you can get this information for free from me, and hopefully you'll go follow a lot of these other people if you're more interested in learning what they're teaching. I'm promoting their work. They're brilliant people, and we all have a lot to learn from each other. So I just wanted to acknowledge all of the people that I've really have influenced me on my journey inward to know myself. So lots of what I was discovering I write through introspection and reflection, and also interoception, which I'll teach you about in the coming videos. While traveling my inner landscape, all of what I had learned was and continues to be articulated in various ways by the many people that I've listed in the acknowledgments here. And I figured if they shared their experiences, I should add to the ongoing discussion of the need for more wisdom and wellness and share mine. Wisdom and wellness is different than academic learning and acquiring information and knowledge and skills. Part of it is acquiring those things, but wisdom's a little bit deeper. And wellness is something that we want to cultivate as a daily practice, as a way of being wise and well. Those are ways of being. They're also frameworks and lenses for how to orient to the world, and so it shapes your perspective, and it influences your attention tremendously. This is different than going to school to learn something, to fix something in your life. Wisdom and wellness is a different path. It's a different journey. So the first person I needed to acknowledge is my oldest son, who would send me lots of information and links to the people that he was listening to and learning from. And Joe Rogan was one of those people who had a big influence on my son, who loves jiu-jitsu because of Joe Rogan and listening and being introduced to that. So all of these ideas of wisdom and wellness for different people, it's all shared, and I just think that's like amazing. There's so much to learning outside, beyond schooling. So I think Jack probably learned more from all of the guests on the Joe Rogan experience than he did throughout his whole entire high school career. And he said that to me once. So another person who is a really big influence and a great resource is Rich Roll. He wrote Finding Ultra. Encourage everyone to read that. And The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. Who else? Let's see. Jordan Peterson was one of Joe Rogan's guests, and I think a lot of people have learned lots from Dr. Peterson. I know I have learned a ton about Western psychology and lots of stuff that helped me in my studies when I went to grad school to get my degree in counseling psychology. A lot of what was missing in higher ed in a very left, liberal, narrow curriculum that I received, I could supplement from a lot of the work that Jordan Peterson has published and put out there online for free. So he was amazing, and learned a lot about Carl Jung and Carl Rogers from Jordan Peterson. Also Tim Ferriss, Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way was a very influential book, and it has shaped a lot of the writing exercises in here and that value of writing. And also Rolf Potts' Vagabonding was a cool book that was pretty influential on me in terms of traveling the landscapes for learning. Jack Kornfield, the Buddhist teacher and psychologist, also Dr. Gabor Mate. Listening to all these conversations between these gentlemen on these various podcasts was really some deep learning, really prompted me to contemplate and go deeper inside to know who I was. Kathy Heller of Don't Keep Your Day Job is a very, very encouraging voice, as well as Mark Manson, also an interesting guy. And I love his voice and his writing. The Minimalists and Leah Babauta, ZenHabits.net, big influence, and want to acknowledge their work. And I will be sharing all of their resources and what I learned from all of these various resources with you. I want to put things in a nutshell and just little tips and things and interesting mind-body experiences and information that I gleaned from these people. Also, obviously, the history of the humanities as an English teacher. Joseph Campbell, The Hero's Journey, Western humanities education it's like endless, right? The Greeks onward. And then Eastern Buddhist wisdom, Hinduism that's related to, Bikram yoga, that lineage. All of these resources and learning I'm going to share with you. I have to acknowledge Bikram Choudhury. The rogue of the American yoga world is a horrific reputation, as some of you are probably aware, but one of my greatest teachers, and I'm so grateful to having him create his yoga system and teach it to me. Also, who else? Lots of other people, lots of personal friends, fellow yoga teachers, and obviously my students throughout my career teaching high school English, and also the graduate students and other teachers that I taught in professional development, seminars, everybody I learned from as far as teaching graphic novels. And yeah, so just acknowledging lots of people. I think all of us are just a compilation, an amalgamation of everyone that we come into contact with throughout our lives, and even our ancestors. All of this wisdom passed down has made me who I am, and my parents and my grandparents and my ancestors. So the lineage gets passed down. We're all just part of the entire universe of energy that is continuously, um, moving. And so here I am, and I just want to share everything that I've learned and to really inspire people to have this Landscapes for Learning outlook and lifestyle, to embrace learning as a way to have a life of living rather than so outcomes focused. I think it's a nice balance and antidote to our over focus on conditional love and achievement and outcome based sort of schooling that conditions us for unwellness a lot of times. And in our culture, that's constantly what we're being bombarded and inundated with is conditional love and acceptance rather than unconditional self-love and really knowing ourselves in our being. We are love, as the T-shirt says. That's who we are. We don't need to do anything to get that. We are already it. And the wisdom, there's so much wisdom within us. We just need to have tools and help and support going there. And we're not taught how to lift the heavy weight of being human. We're not taught how to get honest and get healthy and to become integrated. It's not part of our cultural milieu or our language. So we'll get into all of that, and that's what I wrote my book to address that. So the first quote is Know Thyself from the Oracle of Delphi. And then the preface says Yoga is union. So we'll talk about union and integration in the next video. I look forward to seeing you. Please subscribe. And please visit landscapesforlearning.com where you can get courses in self-study that are based on the book, but offer a whole lot more than what's in the book. This book is also available on Amazon.com if you're interested. If you want to follow along the videos by reading too, you can have a nice little book talk and tutorial as you read through your self-study guide. This book is about you. Okay, it's resources to get you to know you. Okay, so you are the subject and the object, and I am just a facilitator who gives you resources, helps you resource yourself, find your inner resources for yourself, and to know who you are, and unconditional acceptance and love toward yourself. And then you'll know best how to take care of yourself. You will be your own teacher. You are your own teacher. And so I want you to enjoy the journey of learning, to know who you are. All right, so subscribe, share with anybody you think this would help, teachers, parents, coaches, anyone who works with other people and helps people grow and thrive, therapists, people who are humanistic helpers will appreciate this. All right, I'll see you next time. We'll talk about yoga as union and the preface of the self-study guide for wellness. All right, take care.